Mauricio Umansky moves out, gets his own place. Mauricio Umansky finally got his own place and left his wife in their old home. He and Kyle Richards started having issues when the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star lost a depressed friend. Well, that was a theory that a therapist came up with. However, apart from allegedly not getting enough support from her husband, Kyle was clearly disturbed by other things in her marriage. Mauricio Umansky would move into his own place, said Kyle. In October last year, Bravo star Kyle Richards explained how the estranged couple sorted out their sleeping arrangements. Despite the split between the couple, they stayed in the same home. She said that she moved into a smaller room upstairs. It seemed odd to many Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans, but they seemed to manage civility despite officially being separated. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans expected that Mauricio Umansky wouldn't remain in the same home as Kyle forever, and in March this year, she confirmed that he would move out and look for his own place. At the time, the RHOBA star also spoke about how she felt uneasy because he was seeing other women. As time went by, it seemed that the couple wouldn't resolve their issues, and all that held them together were their kids. Hopes faded for Bravo fans as rumors arose that Kyle Richards got involved with country singer Morgan Wade. However, the rumored affair might be in trouble, and she's not so lovey-dovey about her friend on social media at the moment. This week, US Weekly reported that Mauricio Umansky finally moved out and he got himself a new condo. According to their source, apparently, Mauricio Umansky will visit their old home when Kyle Richards is out of town. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills news continued because the outlet checked out with another source on where he lives. It seems that he lives in the same luxury building as Matt Damon in a new West Hollywood development. Allegedly, it's a luxurious place, so the RHOBA personality isn't exactly slumming it. Matt Damon paid over $8 million for his apartment. For now, it seems that they won't get a divorce because of the complexities of their financial relationship. There was no press release, no teary confessional on late-night TV, and certainly no tabloid-worthy meltdown. Mauricio Umansky just moved out, quietly, like someone flipping the lock on a multimillion-dollar front door and whispering to himself, "This is mine now." To the outside world, it seemed sudden. One day he was in the sprawling Beverly Hills estate he shared with Kyle Richards, the RHOBH legend and matriarch of glam, and the next, he was unpacking boxes in an architectural masterpiece nestled in the hills of Bel Air. But those who knew Mauricio, really knew him, understood that this was more than just a change of address. This was a new chapter. And for a man who sells homes for a living, it was poetic. It started with a craving, not for freedom, but for stillness. Mauricio had spent the last 2 decades sprinting, building the agency into a luxury real estate powerhouse, navigating the high-octane world of reality TV, and balancing the demands of family and fame. His face was as familiar on Sunset billboards as it was on Bravo reruns. Yet somewhere between champagne showings and after-party selfies, he realized he'd been playing a role in everyone else's dream, never stopping to ask what his own looked like. The house came first. He wasn't looking for it, not really. It was one of those whispered listings, the kind agents only mention after 2 martinis and a knowing glance. A mid-century modern with steel beams, glass walls, and secrets in its bones. It didn't boast, it beckoned. He toured it alone. There was something sacred about that moment. Mauricio in his signature blazer, sunglasses tucked into his collar, standing barefoot on white oak floors, breathing in the scent of new beginnings. The home was perfect. Not because it was flawless, but because it was his. He signed the papers that afternoon. Word got out, as it always does in LA. By morning, TMZ was speculating. Was it a split? A trial separation? A midlife reinvention with better lighting? But Mauricio didn't feed the frenzy. He wasn't running from anything. He wasn't done with his old life. He was just carving out a space for himself within it. The new place was a departure from his previous world. There were no Versailles-inspired chandeliers or velvet fainting couches. This home was minimalist, intentional, honest. The kind of place where you pour your own tequila and don't apologize for putting your feet on the furniture. He furnished it slowly. No decorators, no assistants. Just instinct and joy. A record player in the corner. A leather-bound journal on the nightstand. Art that made him pause, not just impress. There was something liberating about not needing to curate for the camera. No one asked if it would photograph well for the next season. No one cared if it had Bravo-celebrity appeal. This wasn't content. It was home. The first dinner party was small. Just a few close friends, a grill, and a view that silenced everyone mid-sentence. Mauricio played chef, host, and sommelier, laughing easily as he flipped steaks and passed out agave shots. They talked about everything: business, love, aging, golf. But the unspoken thread was this: change doesn't have to mean collapse. Sometimes it's just an evolution. Kyle visited, of course. They toasted over the kitchen island like old friends who knew each other's roots too deeply to pretend otherwise. "You look good here," she said, not as an ex, not even as a co-star, but as someone who had loved him through every version of himself. "So do you," he replied, meaning it. It wasn't dramatic or icy. It was real, like the house. Mauricio's daughters popped by with overnight bags and opinions on his decor. Farah joked that he was one macrame plant hanger away from becoming an a la cliché. Sophia claimed the guest room before anyone else could. Portia curled up on the couch and made playlists for his housewarming. He loved how the house shifted with their presence, how it transformed from sanctuary to celebration, always elastic enough to hold joy. In the quiet mornings, Mauricio surfed. Just him and the waves, no entourage, no drones. In the evenings, he read books he'd forgotten he owned. Some nights, he just sat with a cigar on the balcony, watching the skyline twinkle like a constellation of second chances. Professionally, Mauricio didn't slow down. If anything, he was sharper, more grounded. Deals closed faster. His instincts were crisper, less clouded by chaos. Clients trusted him more now. There was a clarity in his voice, a calm in his step. He wasn't just selling homes. He was selling possibility, reinvention, peace. And people craved that. The house became a symbol, not of escape, but of alignment. He wasn't proving anything anymore. Not to networks, not to critics, not to the curated perfection of social feeds. He was just living. Of course, the cameras would come knocking. Someone would pitch a spin-off, frame it as Mauricio, the next move. There would be interest, a sizzle reel, maybe even a green light. But for now, he didn't need a storyline. He had a sunrise over the canyon, a key in his pocket, and the soft click of the front door closing behind him each night, whispering, "Welcome home." Epilogue. When asked by a reporter at a luxury real estate summit what he would name this new chapter of his life, Mauricio grinned. "Found space," he said. "That's what it feels like. Like I finally found the space to hear myself think." The crowd clapped, the cameras clicked, and somewhere in the hills, his house stood waiting, not as a monument to change, but as a mirror of it.